In today's video, we'll discuss some of the most important British poets that you need to know for exams like the UGC Net English, like the GATE, like the CUET and others, like for all the sets and all. These are the most important British poets that you cannot miss. I already have a video on the important novelists and the playwrights. Check those as well. Link will be in the description box. Let's get started. First and foremost, how can we not start with the Geoffrey Chaucer? I mean, he is one of the most important ones. He is the one who is often referred to as the father of English literature, isn't he? He is somebody who lived during the 14th century and he's best known for his contributions to the development of English poetry. About his works, if we say, then very obviously it is the Canterbury Tales. It's a very famous work, highly important. You cannot miss this work. The collection, this particular collection of 24 stories is actually told by a group of pilgrims who are traveling to the shrine of St. Thomas Becket in Canterbury, and each tale reflects different aspects of the medieval society, offering a rich tapestry of characters and the themes. Okay, and I already have a video on Canterbury Tales on my channel where I have talked about the notable tales like the Knight's Tale and the Wife of Bath's Tale. Like I have that particular video, it actually talks about the 4 most important tales from the Canterbury Tales, and I would highly suggest that do watch that particular video. I'll again leave the link to that in the description box below. Okay, watch all these videos, study all these videos for your exams as well. Now, because Chaucer is such a major figure, he's such a canonical writer, you must know about his other works as well. I mean, studying the Canterbury Tales, that goes without saying, obviously very important, but then for his other works also you must have a knowledge of, though not too much in depth. Okay, so for example, we have Troilus and Cresside, a long narrative poem that tells the tragic love story of Troilus. Troilus was a Trojan prince, and Cresside, okay, so it tells the story of these two people set against the backdrop of the Trojan War. The poem explores themes of love, of fate and fortune. Do read about his other works as well, like the Book of the Duchess, the Parliament of Fowls. All these works very important for the paper. Okay, moving on to the second one, we have John Donne, the one whose works have become the defining works of metaphysical poetry. Very important and very famous, rightly so. बहुत प्यारी poems लिखते हैं. The Sun Rising, Death Be Not Proud, A Valediction Forbidding Mourning are just a few of his important poems, a few of his most famous works. Truly important for any competitive examination. You have to study his poetry. I do have videos on John Donne's poetry, do check them as well. Third one, we have John Milton. Does he need an introduction for the literature students? I think not. I say no, he does not, because John Milton again is that important. Like, of course, apart from studying his Paradise Lost, and you surely have to know about all his other works like Areopagitica, very important. Then we have Lycidas, we have On His Blindness, that sonnet that he had written, and so many other of his works. So on my channel there are videos already on Paradise Lost. I also have a video on Areopagitica, on his blindness as well, so you can watch all these for your preparations. Next we have Alexander Pope, again very important figure from the Enlightenment age, also known as the Augustan age. That particular age, okay, various names, so one of them is Augustan age. Make sure that you study his Rape of the Lock, the Dunciad and other works of his, because again he's a very important figure. He's also an important literary critic, but again, because here we are just talking about poetry, so I'm not going to talk about his contribution to literary criticism. Okay, in my online course though, I have discussed all the important works of not just Alexander Pope, but all these poets that I mentioned here. You can enroll in my online course by simply going to my website theankitajain.com, or you may also download my app, which you would find on the Play Store. I leave the links to all that in the description box, and in case you have any doubt whatsoever, if you have any questions, just feel free to call or WhatsApp me on the number showing above, again which you'll find in the description box as well. Now, continuing with the poets, the next we have is William Wordsworth. William Wordsworth, a central figure in the Romantic movement of the late 18th and the early 19th century in England, and his poetry is something which often focused on the nature, on emotion and the individual's connection to the natural world. very important poet, very important, very famous for the very important for the exam, and very famous in literature. Again, there are many famous poems by Wordsworth that you have to study. So for example, you study his lyrical ballads, which includes Tintern Abbey. Then you also make sure to study his The Prelude, and this is actually an autobiographical poem that was published posthumously. Posthumously means after the death of Wordsworth. Okay, so it explores the personal growth and development as a poet of Wordsworth, because it's autobiographical, right? The next writer we have is W.B. Yeats, William Butler Yeats, who was a leading figure in the 20th century literature, who was known for his symbolic and modernist poetry. Very famous, very important, again highly important. Two major poems of Yeats that you cannot just miss are The Second Coming. Second Coming actually reflects Yeats's disillusionment with the state of the world after the First World War, and the second poem would be Easter 1916, and this poem actually commemorates the Easter Rising. Easter Rising was this armed insurrection in Dublin against the British rule. So Yeats reflects on the transformation of ordinary people into heroes with that famous refrain, "A terrible beauty is born," and that actually captures the paradox of the uprising. Okay, the last canonical poet I would like to mention, without whom your preparation is going to be incomplete, is obviously T.S. Eliot. He was a modernist poet, we all know that, who was known for his innovative use of the language and exploration of cultural decay. You definitely thoroughly need to study The Wasteland. I mean, that's the landmark work that you cannot just miss. Do not even think of skipping it if you're preparing for the papers. Very important poem, modernist poem, which is a complex and fragmented exploration of the First World War disillusionment. I have multiple videos on this text in my old videos. In fact, you would find that I have discussed the poem line by line, giving a detailed introduction, the background as well. So be sure you watch all these videos for your preparation. If you watch a concise one on The Wasteland, I have that as well on my channel. Just search my channel and you would find everything for your needs, okay, for your preparations if you're preparing on your own. I'm sure they are going to be really very super helpful for you. Also make sure to study other works of T.S. Eliot. Again, one of the most important ones would be The Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock, another of his famous work. So these are just some of the most important poems, okay, like some of the most important poems and some of the most important poets from the exam point of view. I've just given you a very few of them, okay. Remember, there are so many more. Please understand that by no means this list is complete. I have only mentioned 7 poets here, but obviously there are many other poets who are also important for the paper. I had to limit myself to keep this video short, okay. That is why I had to give just a few to you. All these poets, which I mentioned, their works have significantly shaped the course of English poetry, and they offer rich material for study. Be sure to explore their poems in depth, and especially the poems which I have mentioned. These are the poems which you have to study in depth. You have to understand the themes, the styles, the historical context. All these things are very important for the paper, especially for these poets. Obviously, in my online course, I talk about all these works at length, about these writers, and not just these poets, also the other ones. Do make sure to check my website for the details and enroll in the course if you want to prepare with me. You can also download my app and use some free study material which I provide, and the free mock test which I've also given there for just to help the students. Make sure that you subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon in case you have not already, so that you are notified each time I upload a new video here. If you want to get in touch with me, follow me on my social media, follow me on my Instagram and Facebook. You can also join my Telegram channel to participate in the daily quizzes which I keep on posting, and to download some free PDFs from there as well. You can also get in touch with me through my WhatsApp number above. If you have any doubts or any video requests, just comment below. I would love to hear from you guys. Do let me know if you found the video to be helpful, and if you did, then do not forget to share it with your friends so that they may also benefit from it, right? Share that content with your friends and others who are preparing for the paper, who are also struggling like you. On this note, I'll take your leave. Best of luck with your exams, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you soon in the next video.